Hey everyone, welcome. All right, quiz 2 is coming up. And I know, quizzes can be a little stressful, but don't you worry, we're going to break everything down in this study guide and get you feeling totally confident.
So, be honest, how are you feeling about this quiz? Maybe a little nervous, a bit shaky on some of the ideas? Hey, that is totally normal. And by the end of this, we're going to flip that uncertainty into confidence. We'll tackle it all together, step by step.
Okay, so here's our game plan. First, we're hitting correlation. Then we'll jump into relations, functions, and domain. After that, we'll master function rules, and then do a quick final review to tie it all together. Ready? Let's do this.
All right, first up, correlation and data trends. I want you to think of this section as being a data detective. You're looking for patterns, for relationships that are kind of hiding in the numbers. This is the big skill from Lesson 4.
So, what even is correlation? Well, it's actually pretty simple. It's just a relationship. Think of it this way. When one thing changes, we're just checking to see if another thing changes right along with it. That's it. It's all about how two pieces of info are connected.
And really, there are just two main types you gotta know for this quiz. For positive correlation, just think up and up. As one number goes up, the other one tends to go up too. And for negative, you guessed it, think up and down. As one number goes up, the other one goes down. It really is that simple.
Okay, let's make this real. Look at quiz question 1. It asks about height and weight. So think about it. Taller people, they usually weigh more, right? So as height goes up, weight also goes up. Since they're both rising together, that is a classic positive correlation.
All right, let's shift gears to our next big topic, which comes straight from Lesson 5. This part is all about the rules of the game. You know, how numbers are allowed to be paired up. We're diving into relations, functions, and the domain.
Okay, if you remember one thing about functions, let it be this phrase, one and only one. It's like a loyalty rule for your inputs. Every single input can only be paired with one output. It can't be cheating with other outputs, no exceptions.
Let's look at an example of this rule being broken. This is from Lesson 5. See that input, 70, for height? Look at what it's paired with. It's paired with 148 pounds, but wait, it's also paired with 166 pounds. That one input has two different outputs. It's breaking our loyalty rule. So, this relation, it is not a function.
So here's a super simple 3-step check you can use on any problem. Step 1, just look at all your inputs. Step 2, check if any of those inputs are used more than once. Step 3, if an input does repeat, look at its partner, the output. If that repeating input has different output partners, boom, it's not a function. See? Easy.
Now, you can take that exact 3-step check and use it on quiz questions 2, 3, and 4. It doesn't matter if it's a diagram with arrows, a chart, or just a list of pairs. The logic is exactly the same. You're just hunting for any input that's trying to have more than one output partner.
Okay, next up, two super important words, domain and range. The domain is just a list of all your inputs, all the first numbers. And the range, that's the list of all your outputs, all the second numbers. Here's an analogy. The domain is all your ingredients, and the range is all the possible meals you could make with them.
So when you get to quiz questions 5, 6, and 7, your job is actually pretty straightforward. All you have to do is make two lists. First, list out all the unique inputs, that's your domain. Then, list out all the unique outputs, and that's your range. Done.
All right, time for our final core skill. This one's from Lesson 6. We're putting our detective hats back on. But this time, we're not just looking for general trends. We're finding the exact mathematical rule that connects the inputs to the outputs. We're turning those patterns into actual equations.
Okay, check out this table from quiz question 8. The big question here is, what is the pattern? How do we get from the X column to the Y column every single time? What's the secret rule that makes this work?
Let's break it down and figure it out. First, let's try addition. Okay, 2 plus 2 equals 4. Hey, that works for the first row. But wait, 3 plus 2 is 5, not 6, so nope, it's not addition. Okay, what about multiplication? Let's see. 2 times 2 is 4. That works. Let's check the next one. 3 times 2 is 6. Yes, and 4 times 2 is 8. Perfect! We found it. That's our pattern. The rule is y equals 2x.
And you're going to use that exact same logic for question 9. Just ask yourself, how do you get from 0 to -1, or from 1 to 0? If you test out the operations, you'll see pretty quickly that you're just subtracting 1 every time. So the rule has to be y equals x minus 1.
Okay, just 2 more quick definitions for you. The independent variable, that's your x, is the one you have control over. It's the input. The dependent variable, that's y, is the output. Its value depends on whatever you chose for x. Think of it this way. The number of hours you study is the independent variable. Your score on the test, that's the dependent variable, because it depends on how much you studied.
So, when you see questions 10 and 11, just ask yourself this one simple question. Which one depends on the other one? The distance a plane flies, that totally depends on how much time it's been in the air, right? So time is independent and the distance is dependent.
Now for the last few questions on the quiz, we're basically just doing this in reverse. This time they give you the rule and they give you the input x. All you have to do is take that number, plug it into the equation where x is, and solve to find the output y. That's it.
And that's it. We've covered all the major concepts. Seriously, we just walked through every single type of problem you're going to see on this quiz. Let's do a super fast final review just to lock it all in. You are so ready for this.
Okay, here it is, your final bite-sized cheat sheet. For correlation, just look for the trend. Are the numbers going up together, or is one going up while the other goes down? For functions, just remember that loyalty rule. One input can only have one output. And for function rules, just test out some simple math, adding, subtracting, multiplying, to find that secret pattern connecting x and y.
Seriously, just let that sink in for a moment. You've reviewed all the concepts. We've walked through an example for every single problem type. You've done the work, and you are ready for this.
So I'm going to leave you with one last question. After this review, what's the one thing, correlation, functions, or maybe finding the rules, that you feel the most confident about right now? Just thinking about that and answering it for yourself, that's the final piece of the puzzle. You're going to ace this. Good luck!